All right, let's talk about resumes. You know, that one-page thing we all have that's supposed to sum up our entire work life. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if a resume isn't just about where you've been, but it's actually a roadmap for where you're going? Today, we're going to break down one resume that does exactly that. It tells this incredible story of a total career transformation. So let's start with this question right here. We usually think of a resume as looking in the rearview mirror, right? But the document we're diving into today, it completely flips that idea on its head. It's built to be a forward-looking declaration, a real strategic plan hiding in plain sight as a CV. And what's so cool about this is that it's not some theory. We're looking at a real-world example. It's a genuine case study in how you can not just dream about a huge career pivot, but how you can actually map it out and make it happen through pure, deliberate action. Okay, so let's set the scene. Every great journey has a beginning, and this one starts in a place that, well, it feels like it's a million miles away from the high-tech goal. Okay, so look at this. This slide just lays it all out, right? The sheer size of this ambition is wild. On one hand, you've got a school administrative officer. Super important job, right? It's all about organization, documentation. But on the other hand, the goal is to be a cloud and security engineer. I mean, that's a whole different world. It's deeply technical, right at the core of today's IT. That's not a step, that's a chasm. So the big question is, how on earth do you make a jump like that? Well, it all kicks off with a crystal clear mission. This isn't one of those vague, fluffy career objectives. No way. This is a declaration. It doesn't just say what the goal is, it explains the reason. To use these new skills to help a company grow. This one sentence really sets the tone for everything else you're about to see. So, you've got the ambition, but how do you turn that into action? Because let's be real, ambition without execution is just a daydream. This next part of the resume, this is the engine room of the whole operation. This is where the hard work really, really happens. 50. Just let that number sink in. 50 plus. We're not talking about a weekend course here. This is over 50 separate, distinct learning modules. That kind of volume, it just screams dedication. It shows a really systematic, deliberate approach to building a brand new knowledge base from scratch. And you can see, this wasn't just, clicking around on random tutorials. This was a plan, a blueprint that honestly anyone could follow. First, you define that super clear goal. Then, you use amazing online resources like Microsoft Learn to just soak up knowledge on the hottest topics. We're talking AI, Copilot, cloud security. But here's the key. The final step is what makes it all real. You have to validate it. Learning is one thing, but getting those official certifications, that's the proof. That's what makes a hiring manager sit up and take notice. And just look at the skills that were built. We're talking about the actual nuts and bolts of a modern IT department. Things like Azure administration, using PowerShell to automate tasks, identity management, even AI integration with Copilot. These aren't just trendy buzzwords, you guys. These are the exact skills that companies are scrambling to hire for as we speak. So, you've put in the hours, you've learned the stuff, but how do you actually prove it to someone who might hire you? This is where the resume gets really smart. It builds this undeniable pace for competence, one certification at a time. Every great structure needs a solid foundation, right? For this career pivot, that foundation was the AZ900 Azure Fundamentals. It's that essential first step. It proves you've got a rock-solid grasp of cloud concepts. You gotta start somewhere, and this is the perfect place. But you don't just stop at the foundation. The next brick in the wall wasn't just another random cert. It was a strategic choice. A move into one of the most vital fields in all of tech, security. Getting the AZ500 shows that this wasn't just about learning. It was about specializing with a clear purpose. And then another critical layer gets added, the SC300 for identity and access. I mean, think about it. In our world of remote everything, controlling who gets to see what is absolutely paramount. Earning this certification proves you have a deep, modern understanding of how to keep an organization's data safe and sound. And wow, when you see it all laid out like this, the strategy becomes so clear. This is not a random grab bag of certifications. This is a carefully constructed portfolio. It covers networking, security, identity, the whole shebang. It tells a story of someone who has methodically become an expert across the entire modern IT landscape. Okay, so the foundation's been poured, the skills are there, and the proof is right there on the page in black and white. All of that intense work leads to this, the final part of the resume, the launch pad. And here it is, the payoff. All of that studying, all of those exams, it translates directly into these incredible high-demand jobs. And notice, the resume doesn't just say, looking for an IT job. It says, with confidence, I am qualified to be your next system admin, your next cloud engineer, your next security analyst. For a recruiter, that kind of clarity, especially when it's backed up with so much proof, is an absolute dream. But the journey doesn't stop here, and that's maybe the most impressive part. The resume actually looks to the future, stating that the next goal is to go for expert-level certifications. That sends a powerful signal that this person is committed to lifelong learning, which, in the tech world, is everything. It's not just about getting a job, it's about building a career. Which brings us to our final thought. This one resume is an amazing story, for sure. But it points to something much, much bigger about the world we're all living and working in. You know, in an economy where things can change on a dime, maybe the most valuable skill you can have isn't what you know right now, but your proven ability to learn whatever you're going to need to know tomorrow. Makes you think, doesn't it?